Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Live Sport Now and the England Golf Young Ambassadors. My name is Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, Steve. Good to see you. You've been a busy man over the last 48 hours. We were due to go out yesterday, weren't we? But the rain has caught us both out, hasn't it?
The rain and various other weather conditions and all sorts of things. Yes. Lovely to hear the fact that you're feeling a little bit better than the last podcast. You had the sniffles a little bit, didn't you, on the last one?
I wasn't well. I did test for COVID. It wasn't COVID. Tested for that. It wasn't that. I don't know what it was. But I actually took about 2 weeks to properly recover. I've only got back in the gym fully this week as well. So
Good for you. Right. Now, this podcast is all about junior golf. It's about the next generation of golfers. It's about getting more boys and girls playing the game of golf. We mentioned the last podcast, which we looked back on 2023. We did a review of the year. But of course, we are in 2024 now, and everyone, in the golf industry is now looking, turning their attention to what the coming year holds. Well, in terms of junior golf, what is that? And more importantly, how do you get yourself ready for the coming year? So that's exactly what we're going to do in this Progress Junior Golf podcast. We're going to look at what a golf club does in preparation for a new junior golf season, the golf county, a professional golfer, a coach, team manager, junior organizer, a junior golfer, of course, a parent of a junior golfer, members of the media like ourselves as well, how we get ourselves ready. So lots of different perspectives, lots of different people looking at it from different angles as far as looking ahead to a junior golf season. We're obviously going to be on the podcast. We'll give our point of view, but help us delve a little bit deeper. We've got two live guests joining us. We've got golf professional Aaron Cox, who's a friend of the podcast, been on a couple of times previously. Of course, Aaron is a coach as well and heavily involved with getting more juniors.
England golf award winner as well.
Absolutely, yes. We should mention that, shouldn't we? Yeah.
Recent nominee again as well.
Good for him. Yeah, absolutely. But we've also got a debutant. We have Marie Dirk, who's coming on, making her first appearance on the Progress Junior Golf podcast.
She gets her first cap today, Marie. You get your first cap.
Absolutely, yes. Now, Marie is a junior organizer at Stonebridge Golf Club, but she's also a parent of a junior golfer. So a couple of different perspectives there, looking at it from a golf club's point of view, but also looking at it from a parent's point of view, and of course looking at it from a son's point of view as well, about what it means to look ahead to a golf season and things that you have to do. And like we say, we'll be adding our point of view as well. You as someone works in the media. And I recently took over as the county junior organiser in Bedfordshire. And of course, I'm, as we've mentioned on many occasions, the secretary of the Shire Junior Golf Tour. So I spent a lot of time in recent weeks and months getting myself ready for this golf season. And you mentioned there the weather, Ian. The last couple of days, the things that I've been trying to organise have all got a little bit pear-shaped because the rain has come and quite a lot of the golf courses, which I've been trying to organise events at, have been closed. But, these are the things that you have to look at when you try and prepare for a golf season.
I think, Steve, what we probably should do is say a big thank you to John O'Gaunt for stepping in last minute and saving the day, really, for the Shire's Junior Golf Tour. So thank you to everybody at John O'Gaunt for stepping in and saving the day.
Yes, and a little preview there as well. There will be a podcast on that show, and it involves one of the world's very, very best golfers. So thanks very much to John O'Gaunt for.
Well, Aaron's on today, though.
Well, I said one of the world's best, not the best.
I can see him laughing, shaking his head in the background. I can see him.
Yes. Yes, that will come up in a podcast at a later date, but we'll hold fire before talking to us about that. Right, we will go on to the Junior Golf News, but just before we do that, just give us the how people can get involved in the Progress Junior Golf podcast, Ian.
Yes, Steve, as you know, we are live, of course, across the world. So please, it's an interactive show, so get in touch with us. There's a number of ways you can do it. The live chat is open at Live Sport Now on YouTube. There's a link wherever you're watching this in the body of the broadcast. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn. Give it a click. It'll take you straight through to this broadcast on YouTube. And if you comment in that live chat, we can actually show it on screen as well, if you keep it clean, of course. You can comment on Facebook, on Twitter, etc., etc., etc. There's a QR code just up there as well. If you scan that, again, it'll take you straight through to the our YouTube channel where you can watch this in the live chat section. So do get involved. If you do have a question at any time, we do want to hear from you. So please do get in touch.
And if you are watching the repeat edition, then please get in touch anyway, because we will read out.
We will see them. Yeah.
So please get in touch, and we'll certainly raise it at an upcoming podcast. Right, but first things first, let's do the junior golf news. As we mentioned, the last podcast we did was a review of 2023. So we're going to cover what's happened so far this year. As you can appreciate,
not a lot.
Not a lot. No, well, not a lot in this country, shall we say. Have to mention, I haven't actually written anything down about this, but it's something obviously I do know about. The Shires Junior Golf Tour did have an event, and we had a hole-in-one as well. So congratulations to Finn, who got a hole-in-one. The first one that we've had on the tour, I think, for about 8 or 9 years. So well done to him. And the person who I mentioned, well, I didn't actually mention the name, but we got that person who I saw earlier today to sign a photo of Finn with his hole-in-one. So that will be presented to Finn when we next see him next. So, yeah, that'll be a nice little treat for him. Anyway, right. But there has been competitions overseas, as you can appreciate, but some big events taking place. Let's start over in America then. The Orange Bowl takes place in Miami. The boys and girls competitions won by Darren Zhu. Shot 69, 71, 72, and 67. Really came down to the final day, though. He went out in 31 for his front nine on the final day. A couple of birdies in the last 4 holes still. It finished 2 ahead of Jack Buchanan. English player, though, was in the field. That was Ben Bolton, who, of course, we know very well. Yeah, Ben finished tied 12th, so well on to Ben. Going, obviously, a bit of warm weather golf for Ben, and why not? 69. Kind of fell apart a little bit on the second day. 78.
I'd have gone out there and made him a cup of tea and kept him, carried his water bottles for him.
Absolutely, yes. Girls competition, that was won by Kayla Bryant, won by 5 shots, did really well. 68, 73, 68, and 69. English player in that as well was Isla McDonald O'Brien. She finished in 9th position, so well done to Isla, another player.
Aldo series regular as well.
Absolutely, someone who's been mentioned on a regular basis on this podcast. Now, just to mention for this tournament, because actually the winner of this competition 2 years ago was a girl called Maria Marin. Maria Marin, who called you? If your surname is Marin, why would you call them Maria? Anyway, that's a story for another day. But anyway, Colombians, what do they know about naming people there? Anyway,
hang on, Steve. It's not after 9 o'clock yet. Steady.
Yeah, yes. But seriously, good golfer. This is someone to watch out for. She's 17 years old. She'd already won the South American Amateur Championship, and she's qualified as well to play in the Augusta National Women's Amateur Championship, which, of course, takes place ahead of the US Masters. She actually played in it last year. It was the first ever South American to make it through to that final round. Well, she's won another competition because she finished 2 shots ahead of closest challenger, 73, 74, 72, and then finished with the 69. She won by 2 shots. Third place, though, was another one who gets mentioned regularly, Mimi Rhodes, English golfer. So and this is a competition taking place over in Colombia. So hats off to you going all the way over there and playing in this event. But well done on finishing 3rd. She was actually leading going into the final round, but finished 3rd in the end.
I have some breaking news, Steve. Sorry, the Colombian Tourist Board have just contacted me and barred you from ever playing at any of the golf clubs in Colombia. So I'm really sorry, mate.
Yeah. Probably wise on their part here. I take it all back. Never been to Colombia, so I wouldn't know what it's like out there, and I wouldn't know how they name their children for they could. Anyway, right. I'm digging myself a bigger hole here, so stop talking. Right. The winners of the men's event, that was actually a women's event. That wasn't even a girls' event. That was a women's event and a men's event. So well done to a teenager for winning the women's event. Men's event was won by Filippo Garcia. Right. Aaron's country. Let's go to Australia then. The Avondale Amateur Championship was won by, and this name will get mentioned again in this podcast, I might add, Declan O'Donovan, an Australian, did really well, won that competition. Now, we've got a photo of the next event. This is in Spain. It's the men's international octagonal matches. So lots of different countries playing in this event. And the winning team was Italy. We've got the winning team here, photo. They won the competition. Unusual format because they play matches against each other, and then they eventually get through to kind of like a knockout stages, depending on how well you finish in the initial matches. It takes place over 6 days, so big competition. England played in it, so players who played in that in the English team were James Claridge, Ben Bolton, who we mentioned earlier, Daniel Hayes, Harley Smith, Elliot Baker, and Ben Brown. Italy won it, as we mentioned there, but they beat Ireland in the final. Strong Irish team, which included the likes of Sean Keeling, Jack Murphy, Fionn Dobbin, and Donachie Cleary. I think all four of those are teenagers, so very young side as well, Italy there. So well done to them, men's competition. Right, another name which crops up on a regular occasion, in particular last year, German golfer by the name of Helen Bream. You might remember her because she won the R&A Girls Amateur Championship last year. And on the back of that, I think she plays in that US Masters competition. Well, she's won the Portuguese International Ladies Championship. So stepping up. And okay, quiz question for you then, right? So it was over 4 rounds. When do you think she shot, which hole do you think she shot her first bogey in?
Okay.
So 72 holes.
None of them.
None of them. That would be a seriously good tournament, wouldn't it? Not quite that good.
71st.
Not quite that either. 52. So, but
still amazing.
Still very good. 18 under par, 67, 66, 68. I think she only actually had 3 bogeys in the entire tournament. Finished with a 73. So well done to her. That's, once again, we talk about golfers who we think might go on and become real top players. I think she's one to watch out for. Right, Faro Series, they've got a couple of events. One of them took place at Elite Tour event, took place at Panini Golf Club. That was won by Charlie Rusbridge.
Where was it staged?
Sorry. Panini.
Panini.
In Portugal.
Cheese and ham.
Yes.
Oh, right. You mean... Yeah.
Don't even go there, please. My jokes are bad.
Aaron's doing this right now. Aaron's doing this.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. Right, so Charlie Rusbridge won it. 70-68, won by 3 shots from Fraser Green. In third place was Mason Barnington and some guy called Ben Bolton. He might get mentioned on the podcast on occasions. So
he's got a few stamps in the passport, hasn't
he? So, yeah, you're not wrong there. They also had an event at Amadora Golf, once again out in Portugal. That was won by Liv Grimberg, a Ukrainian golfer. Some seriously good scoring once again here. 68-70, won by 4 shots from Sam Marshall and Oscar Lent. In joint 4th place was someone who we mentioned earlier, Sean Keeling from over in Ireland. He was one of the players who finished in 4th position. Just a couple of further events then. Another one back in over in Australia. I kind of did these in chronological order, so hence the reason why I'm kind of going across the world here. But the New South Wales Medal and Amateur Championship was won by, mentioned him earlier, Declan O'Donovan. So this kid sounds like this is... Aaron might well know him. He might well be more aware of him than we are. But he won the medal and he also won the knockout as well. So he was the top qualifier, shot 69-67, won the medal by 2 shots from Lachlan Jones. 5th place actually was Sam Mukherjee, player who doesn't get mentioned, from Scotland. And O'Donovan actually beat Oliver Mukherjee in the last 32. Sam made it through to the quarterfinals before getting knocked out, but obviously Declan went through on to win the tournament. Then finally, last one we'll talk about, once again, another competition over in Portugal. The R&A Student Tour Championship was won, so men's and women's competition. Men's was won by William Liu. I think he's a Swedish golfer. He won by 1 shot from Ryan Griffin. Will Cox was in 3rd. And the girls' competition was won by Emma Fleming, Irish golfer. She won by 4 shots from Elise Fredrickson and Kate Lanigan. So I think we pretty much will cover most of the junior golf which has been happening this year. Obviously, as and when the weeks are going to be going on, we're going to be covering more and more events. But that covers the junior golf news for this podcast. It's time to talk junior golf for the season there, and we need our guests on because we're looking
proper guests.
Proper guests and us too.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
So we're looking at
proper guests.
Preparing for a new junior golf season. So let's get golf professional Aaron Cox on and Stonebridge Golf Junior Club junior organizer Marie Dirk, and also a parent as well of a junior golfer. Good to see you. Everyone okay?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah, fantastic, Steve. How are you, Ian?
I'm okay. Right. Anyone been playing any golf in the last 3 or 4 days?
No. I know Aaron hasn't. Blackwell Grange is underwater, isn't it? Almost.
I have played my first professional event of 2024.
And how did you win? Did you win the 100 meters breaststroke or the backstroke?
Well, this is a massive plug, but Selby Golf Club, which is probably about 15 minutes south of York, Chris Hansen held a 2020 Pro Tour, a little one amateur, one pro-am on Monday, and I went down with one of my caddies actually, who plays and caddies for me a lot, and Selby Golf Club. I'll tell you, I went down, Steve, with white golf shoes. I came back with white golf shoes.
Oh, impressive!
Well,
it was dry as a bone.
Really?
Really.
Where's this golf club? We need to sort out some events.
Selby Golf Club, just south of York. It was a tough day. 30-mile-an-hour winds all day. I was hitting 8 irons 200 yards, but then I was hitting hybrids 160.
But it was dry.
It was bloody dry.
Right. Okay. Now it kind of brings into what we're looking at, because we're trying to prepare for the golf season. We're trying to look ahead of what goes on in the junior golf season. Now we are into February now, and we've mentioned it on many occasions when we've done the podcast here, and the fact that the golf season tends to start US Masters time around about April. Easter actually this year is slightly earlier, so for as far as the juniors are concerned, they might start the week before the US Masters, so perhaps the first week in April. But we really need to be starting looking ahead at this stage. So let's look at it almost like chronologically, in the sense of what are we doing at this time of the season. So let's look at it from a coach's point of view first of all. And as far as junior golf is concerned, what can you do at this stage of the season as far as preparation is concerned, as far as coaching is concerned?
Right. So over the whole of winter, since October, I implemented my winter program for my juniors here at Blackwell. I have 8 classes per week, as I've mentioned many times before, but the winter classes never dropped in numbers. So I had a full class, 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on 1 on Thursday, 3 on Saturday mornings, purely working. And it gets boring for the kids, I have to admit, but I tried to make it a bit more fun. But it was mainly working on swing techniques and understanding of the golf club. Now, even with 6 and 7-year-old kids, I work very hard on getting them to understand the golf swing. Obviously have fun, but talk to them, ask questions, get them to ask questions, get a really good communication line between us and then also that communication to parents. So I really look at technique in the winter with my 7-year-olds, with my elite juniors, my elite development crew. They haven't stopped in the gym, so they've gone every Monday night in the gym working with a PT. They move into strength phase through the winter to increase their strength and their stability. So then once we get closer to the season starting, those kids will then start tapering down and moving into a stretching and flexibility and rotation program. With my young kids, it's really getting them to learn about hitting the golf ball and how the club works with their body being so small, 6 and 7-year-olds. Then you've got 9 and 10-year-olds. Then you've got 13 and 14-year-olds. So it's breaking the swing down for them to see the golf ball going higher and further and getting better ball striking. That's the main thing of my blueprint that I work on through winter, and try and play games as much as I can at the end of class to try and just keep them rolling and ticking along each week.
Now we're very lucky, as you well know, Aaron's nominated and won the England Golf Coach of the Year award. Marie, Josh, your son's coach, Aaron Lansby, another person who's been nominated and won that same award as well. So the experience that you have in there with Aaron, is that very similar with what Aaron does with your son?
Absolutely. So he does a lot more short game. He'll take them on the outside range, do a lot more putting focus with them. And as you said, at the end of the lessons, they have a bit of fun. And then Joshua also attends a golf PT every other Saturday. So keeping his strength up and then working on his technique through the winter.
And Aaron mentioned there about the communication between the coach and the parents. So you, as not just a junior organizer at the club as well, but how much communication do you get from the coach as well during this period of time?
Yeah, so Aaron Lansbury uses an app called Skillist. So Joshua has one-to-ones with Aaron, and he'll upload videos, any comments for Joshua to work on and for myself to see, to help Joshua. He uses WhatsApp and he uses emails as well.
And you, as the junior organizer of the club, how much communication do you have with the other parents? Is that a role that you have to take on?
Yeah, so again, we use WhatsApp because I think it's the best way of communication, and emails. And then we use a booking system called How Did I Do to book all the competitions and all the events we have at Stonebridge.
Now, we've mentioned on a few occasions the weather's not been great in recent weeks. You say that you've had a really high turnout, Aaron. I've run some events in Bedfordshire this year, and they've all sold out, all the Bedfordshire events that I've had. Marie knows as well with the Shires Junior Golf Tour, we've had just a couple of events already this year. Both of those sold out as well. So people sometimes look at it and go, why on earth would we be playing over the winter? But the demand is there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry, Marie. Absolutely. You look at, we've had pretty much, everyone, I think I can agree that we've had an absolutely terrible run of nearly 12 months weather, running from winter last year into the winter of the summer last year, into the winter of the autumn, which then moved into winter. Says an
Aussie.
Says the Aussie. Exactly right. Hey, I should be in 37-degree heat. But I think because the demand's high, Steve, is because the lack of golf. As with the season from 2023 abruptly really coming to a halt pretty early through, we had record rainfall up here in August, and there wasn't really a summer for us up north here. But definitely the events are selling out because kids just want to play golf. And you put any kind of an event on for kids, they'll turn up rain, hail or shine because they want to, which is fantastic, I think, from the kids' point of view, but then tough from parents' point of view for actually getting out there in the rain and the cold and the wind while they're enjoying it. And what Marie was saying before, the communication is really, really important. And I'd second that massively from that point of view of making sure the parents are involved in what's going on, what's happening. And I use Facebook Messenger, I use WhatsApp myself, I use email as well. So like what Aaron's doing, funny that we're both Aarons and both award winners. Funny that, but yeah, it is really important. Marie's obviously lucky, well, not lucky, but Marie's obviously in a position where she's in charge of all the junior golf, and she's working at that golf club to set all the competitions. I'm the one-man band. I'm JLO. I'm the golf coach. I'm the junior liaison officer. I'm organising all the comps, the golf sixes. I'm setting the club's junior competitions on the main course. I'm setting my kids' academy golf course schedule for the year. It's a lot of fun. It's a big job, but I wouldn't change that for the world, because then I know exactly what I'm preparing the kids for.
I'm just intrigued as well. Obviously, we have spoken a little bit about the weather, but Aaron made the point there, the fact that the kids will go out there, sun, rain, whatever conditions. Is that something you've had with Josh, in the sense of even when it's been raining and you as a parent have gone, I don't fancy this? Has Josh basically persuaded you and thought, actually,
absolutely. We've been out on Stonebridge playing with our waterproofs on and getting mud all over our faces. Absolutely. I think it's part of the fun, and it helps you a better player in the springtime, the summertime. If you can play through the winter, and you will reap the benefits through the summer.
What about technically,
Aaron? Want to
because
play, don't they? Sorry, Steve. Kids just want to play, don't they? Any time of year. But do you ever find, Aaron, it might be a good one for you, this actually. Do you ever find, I know parents pay their sort of subs for the year, but do you ever get parents coming up in winter and just sort of saying, oh, look, can I pause it for a month or a couple of months or something, and then get it going again when the weather's a bit better? Is that a thing? Because I used to be in the gym game, and we used to get that all the time with people. Oh, I'm not going to be around for a couple of months. Can I pause memberships? Does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my screen's gone pause, but if you can still hear me.
Yeah, can hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, no, I've had many. I've had not many, but I've had a few juniors that have indeed paused the classes through December and January to work on, or just stay out of the cold. They just weren't feeling it. Some of the kids that weren't having success with their swing, get disheartened and lose will and want to do it. So yeah, look, it is, as I said, winter. I've been now Blackwell 5 years and been in the UK 6, and this is my 6th winter. It is hard to keep kids engaged through 1, 2, 3 degree weather when it's raining sideways or snow's coming down, and it's just chilly as. You kind of find out which kids want to play golf and which kids are doing it just for a bit of fun and just for a bit of do something different. So you do get those. So
just on that point, and this has happened to me, Aaron, only in the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. 2 separate golfers have either come to me or the parent has come to me and said, my son's not enjoying it, so we're going to take a little bit of a break from the game. And it kind of breaks my heart a little bit on occasions where I think, is it something I've done wrong? Is it the time of the year? Is it, what could we have done differently? Is there any advice you could give to me? Because I'm sure that's happened, might well have happened to Marie at Stonebridge, whereby some golfers have come to them or parents have come to them and said, we just want to take a little bit of break from the game, and we know golf is tough. It's even tougher in these kind of conditions whereby it's cold, wet, and it can be miserable when you're trying to play golf like that. Is there any advice that you can give to me or a golf club about that?
You've got to let them be. You've got to accept and respect their decision. As soon as you start trying to persuade or not turn on the kids, but turn it back to them and go, oh, come on, you can do it. You're just putting pressure on them. And if they're not feeling it and you start pressuring them, they're going to feel it even worse. I just agree with the families and the parents and go, you know what, have a break, because I agree 100% with kids and golfers. I have breaks every year. You get yourself away from the game, you clear your head, you get rid of all those cobwebs there in your head, do something else, go do something else. And I've taught for the last 4 months straight. And really, the only time I picked up a golf club is to really hit golf balls in the kids' classes. But my golf clubs have been in the shed, in the garage, in my travel case, still locked up from my last golf trip to Spain in November. Now, I only got them out on Monday to play. And right now, I've got my clubs in the shop that I've actually shortened and I'm regripping them. So my advice is support their decision and always say the door is so open for you to come back whenever you like. Come out, open your arms as a coach, open your arms as a golf club and go, you know what? You are always welcome here at the golf club or always here in the lessons and classes. All you got to do is just drop me a line. Hey, can we come back? Absolutely no problems.
Is that an experience that you can relate to, Marie, in the sense of not necessarily with Josh, but perhaps other juniors and other parents at your club?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a few juniors that absolutely hate the cold, are very sensitive to the cold, and they all say, I don't want to play through the winter, but as soon as it gets warmer, they'll be back on the course. So again, you do have to respect that. I would have loved to have done a winter like match play league, but the uptake, there'd be about 2 juniors and that would include Joshua. So you have to respect that a lot of them don't do very well in the wet weather and when it's cold. So we didn't go ahead with the winter league this year.
And actually, Ian raised the point there as far as when subs and when memberships start and things like that. Is there there's no general rule that it doesn't necessarily have to start on January the 1st. Sometimes it can start in April. Sometimes it can start in October. At your club, Marie, when do you start the membership year?
So the memberships at Stonebridge, it's when they've signed up. So for Joshua, his membership renewal's June time, but the juniors have. Everybody as a member there can freeze their membership. So if a junior doesn't want to play through this winter, they can go and speak to the club and they'll happily freeze their membership for them. And
yourself, Aaron, your club, is it similar? Is it a rolling whenever you sign up, it's a year from then, or can it be? Is it over from a set date? How does it work?
No, it's rolling the same as Marie. The juniors and the men's membership, obviously we have a high number of percentage of about 60% of the members who go from about April, May from there onwards. But then the other 20, 30% of the membership is the other 10 months of the year. The juniors are all the same. They just join up whenever they wanted to. But mainly I've pushed my junior memberships around this time. So when the kids are coming into spring, they're ready to play golf. And they, because I've got an academy course, so they've got their own membership on their own golf course. And then from there, I've got an agreement with the club where once they get to a certain standard and a certain age, then they put their membership form in for full junior, and I write a letter of recommendation to say, yep, this junior is ready to go. They're ready for the big course. Even on our blue short course, they're still ready to go, and I fully support this application. Then they move up to the main course. By then, they join another group. I move them then into a different group to then older kids that are ready to move into the main course, and then start that process of getting them ready for the season ahead. So move the young kids in young classes. Once they start progressing and getting older, they move that into older classes that are then moving on to the main course and getting ready. I then get their membership upgraded to a full junior, and then I start giving them opportunities through February, March, April to go out there, start playing on the blue course and get their handicaps.
Just one more question about coaching, then we'll move on to a different type of subject. But as far as coaching is concerned, at this time of the year, how aware do you have to be the fact that, let's say, for example, putting, the greens are not going to be in great condition. So how technical can you be in that environment, whereby do you have to sometimes say, I know that putt missed, but there's nothing you did anything wrong, because at the end of the day, you've got a horrendous bobble, or the speed is completely different from what it would be in a normal golf season.
Well, through the winter, I move every class onto the range. So we have an undercover driving range, floodlit and top tracers installed. So I can play games, I can play fish with the kids, I can work them on my practice. We can play virtual golf. We can also play like little long drive comps. So short game doesn't get looked at as much through the winter. I believe, this is my setup, and what I try and do is I try and get the kids to work on their techniques of their full swings. So then as soon as we get to better weather come March time, literally I spend every week outside doing short game and putting, getting them ready for the season ahead. So I spend 4 or 5 months on the range under floodlights, and then move to the short game area once we get a little bit better weather and a bit more better light.
Is that the same at Stonebridge, Marie?
I have to say at Stonebridge, they've done a great job in looking after the greens, and we've got fantastic facilities. We've got undercover driving range. We use TrackMan, but we've got a great chipping and putting area as well. So it doesn't really impact much in the winter, because they do a great job with the greens, and the drainage is very good.
Okay, let's move on to another subject. I'll start with you on this kind of thing, because let's look at it from a journalist's point of view. When do you start looking ahead for your schedule for the season? Because we're going to look at it from competition point of view, from juniors, we're looking from a professional point of view as well. When do you start looking ahead of the season and start planning what you're going to do in, next week, March, April, May, June, right the way through the season?
Usually, Steve, about September the year before, if possible. As you know, I'm involved not just in golf, I'm involved in motorsport and football and other sports as well. So the dates suddenly come flooding through very quickly as you get. But I tend to, if I'm brutally honest, it's the 9th of February 2024 now. It sounds crazy to think, but in September, I will start to switch everything over to 2025. And looking forward and ahead to that. As Aaron will probably know, and I'm sure Marie knows as well, you tend to try and work a minimum 6 months ahead. Doing a lot of broadcasting and things, a lot of weekends get taken up very, very quickly. It's not always possible. Tournaments come in and I get phone calls from saying, right, we've got this event coming up in August. I've had one recently in the last week, talking about a golf tournament taking place at the end of August. Can we do it, etc., etc. So things always trickle in, but I try and get a core work. So, for example, I've worked with Aaron now for the last couple of years at the Blackrock Range Pro-Am. I roughly know when it's going to be, so I can pencil those sort of dates in. The 2020 Pro Tour, when I've worked with those boys, we get the schedule usually through relatively early, so we can pick out dates that we're going to do. Trilby Tour, we're doing every event this year. I had those dates in sort of November, December time, so I can fit those in. Then it's just a case of fitting other stuff in and around if it comes in. Now, if it comes in late and I can't do it, it's tough, really. But Steve, you're probably the same. I work as far ahead as I possibly can, but I start to turn my attention to the following year in September this year, I'll start turning all of my attention to booking things for 2025.
Now, the reason I started with you, because that's your perfect scenario. That's whereby you can plan ahead. You know when the dates are. You know what you're doing. You know where you can see all the tournaments. You know pretty much. Well, it might all be the same venues, the same tournaments, year in, year out. Marie, from a junior point of view, from a parent's point of view, how on earth do you even start to try and find out when the events are? You know, because sometimes they can be put on very late, can't they?
Yeah, they can. I mean, Joshua plays in the Shires and he plays for the Warwickshire Order of Merit. So I have to hopefully see if their schedules are on the websites and then write them all down in the calendar so I don't get him double booked. But he literally has a comp where he plays golf every weekend. So it is really important that it is all down on the calendar. And I am mindful that I don't want him just doing competitions every weekend. He's got to go out and have fun on the golf course with his friends as well.
We will come to that because I want to really go into a lot of detail about the difference, you know, the fun, rest as well, at schools as well. We'll come to that. But just on the point of the schedule, Aaron, from a club's point of view and from a club professional's point of view, how quickly can you get a schedule sorted?
Well, I schedule the main course comps for the year for the club and also do my academy schedule with little kids on the kids course. I purely work them around the Northern Junior Golf Tour. So up here, it's a very big tour. So a lot of, you know, I've got 11, 12, maybe like 15 kids in my academy playing Northern Junior Golf Tour. And I want to make sure that when they play either the comps here at club level or the young kids are playing on the kids academy, then I want to make sure they have every opportunity to play them. So I work that around. But you always find kids will play, pick and choose what they play, from Northern Junior Tour to club events to the academy events.
And with that in mind, the Northern Junior Golf Tour is very good. So I'm not. This is no criticism of them. But how can it be a little bit frustrating that you're almost relying on them to give you the fixtures first of all before you can even do your own?
Yes, yes and no, but yes in a way, because obviously the Northern Junior Tour has taken off so big, like the events you play on down south. It literally within 10 minutes of the entries going open, literally 20 minutes, you've got 150 kids booked in from ages 5 all the way up to 18. So it is really important to make sure that obviously a lot of the kids will put focus on those events, and as it gets bigger, my only fear is that with the Northern Junior Tour, they're expanding to the east and the west coast now for the same kids. So a lot of my kids in the northeast are now having to travel with their parents, sometimes 2 to 3 hours to play one round of golf to then turn around and come back. Now, sometimes if you've got 2 kids and they say the son or the daughter plays, then the other child either has to go and just put up with it or go to grandma or grandpa and miss out on a bit of a road trip. So it's a juggling act, I think, for Northern Junior Tour. But then I just concentrate on my golf club and my junior events, because solely for me as the PGA coach, I'm trying to get their swings and their games and their mindset to playing club golf first. Then they can start opening their wings up over time.
I'm glad you said that, Aaron, because sorry, Steve, to jump in, because Marie, you probably find this as well. There's a pecking order in sport, and as harsh as it sounds, it's very, very true, isn't it? And you just said there, Aaron, yours is the Northern Junior Golf Tour. You wait till they've released the dates, then you fit yours around in. As I said, motorsport, I'm involved quite heavily in motorsport, and nothing happens in British motorsport until the British Grand Prix dates are announced for the following year. Nothing at all will happen. Yeah. Then there's a pecking order of MotoGP. Then they pick when they want Silverstone. Then the British Touring Car or then the Endurance Championship pick when they want Brands Hatch or Silverstone. Then the British Touring Car Championship decide when they want to go to the tracks. And then the rest of the dates is a free-for-all for everybody else. And that's only then is when you can pick when you can go racing and do bits and bobs like that. And it's very much the same in golf, isn't it? Because nobody really wants to put a big tournament on over Masters weekend, do they? Really?
No, absolutely.
And also, talking about pecking order, I certainly want to bring Marie in on this, because obviously your son Joshua now has started being involved with the county setup as well.
Yeah.
And I was, while you were talking then, Ian, I was just having a look on the internet. I was trying to find the website, and it's not only one, but there's county websites out there who specifically put on their website, there is an order. It's the national first, or international first, national first, region next, county next, club next. And it's almost like you are defying the county if you go and play for your club as opposed to attending the county. Is that, and I don't want to use the word pressure, but sometimes you feel that pressure that can come from above?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Joshua is playing with the Shires at Stoneleigh in a couple of weeks, in about 3 weeks' time, and he should have had county coaching that day. But I went and spoke to the organiser, and he was very supportive of actually saying Joshua should go and play at Stoneleigh. It'd be great for his short game. But I felt that I had to get permission for him to go and play at Stoneleigh.
Is that an experience that you've had as well, Aaron, whereby you've had a little bit of pressure? I don't like to use the word pressure, but that is the right word, I feel, from counties to say, why they play on the club event, they should be playing on the county event, or the way round sometimes.
Well, yes, but at the same time, I get on the front foot and make sure that my club events don't clash with county bigger events, and major events on, England Golf, County Durham, and Northern Junior Tour. I kind of work around it because I want to try and I obviously, and this is where communication to the parents comes in. Obviously, I'm the one that's booking in all the club events for the year on the course and the competitions. I want to make sure that the parents have got that list to go, hey, look, it's really important that we're growing this section, and we've got up to 100 junior members now at Blackwell. And I've got about 15 or 16 kids that are getting handicaps next month in March. So I want to make sure that the kids that have been playing for 3, 4, 5 years, and my county players and in my league teams and my Teesside Union players are able to slot back into the club events and be a mentor to my younger kids that are starting their competition careers on club events at Blackwell Grange.
So do you have your dates, both of you, Marie and Aaron, do you have your dates for 2024? Because I know you have, yep.
Okay, well, I want to make a point on this then to Marie, but Josh has obviously just started playing under 12s, I think, for Warwickshire. It might be under 14s as well. Obviously, if there's an under 14s match, at the moment you wouldn't know whether Josh had been selected to play for that team or not. Are you? What happens if he is or isn't, if you sort of mean? Do you have to drop your plans, or do you have to leave that space in the diary just in case? These are the type of questions which not just you, but other parents might well have to face.
Yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate with the Warwickshire Golf Union. They've already pre-selected their team for who will play for the squad. So I know that Joshua won't have any match play. So I know that he can do the Warwickshire Order of Merit, and he can play for the under 14s at North Warwickshire. And he's also got a season ticket with Shires. So that comes priority as well for Joshua this year, to play in all the events there.
But if you can see the scenario whereby what happens if he was part of the squad and didn't play, wasn't picked, if he's part of a squad, perhaps say you've got a squad of 10 and you're only picking 8 players, someone's going to have to miss out, and you might feel as if, well, he could have played in that event, and it's tough. It could be tough on parents, can't it?
It is tough, but I think if say Joshua did get picked for the squad, then it would be free on the diary. And then if he didn't get picked, we'd either see if there was a competition, or he would go out and play a friendly round with his friends. So I think that's what you have to accept, that they're not going to get picked for every match.
Okay, right. There's one thing I want to move on to next then. I want to talk about rest, because we've talked a lot about competitions. We talked a little bit there about matches, and we talked a lot about schedule, and the schedule can be huge. I've set up a Progress Junior Golf website whereby I'm putting competitions on there. And I remember last year, one day in the summer last year, whereby I put on, and I checked on one day, there were 35 different competitions in the country on one day in the summer holidays. So there's no shortage of choice if you can find it. But it must be at some point whereby you as a parent, whereby you go, actually, this is not in my son's best interest to play in the competition this weekend because he's got a competition the day before, the day after that. Or
surely you want a holiday as well. Surely
Yeah.
you want to have a holiday and you want them to go see their mates and do whatever they do.
So how do you work that? How do you fit that into a schedule then, Marie?
So, as I said before, it's very important that they're not playing comps every weekend. We've decided, we've sat down and looked at the fixtures. Josh will play all the spring Warwickshire Order of Merits. He'll do all the Shires events. But I am very conscious through the summer holidays that he will enjoy the holidays and probably play about 2 comps. And then you'll go out and have friendly rounds with his friends, because what I don't want him to do is play competition after competition and then he just sees his handicap fluctuating and he'll just get demoralised by it.
And that seems like a sensible thing to do. Is that something which you face with a lot of your parents? That's the same type of conversation you have, Aaron?
Well, what I schedule is, especially through school holidays, I stop all my junior coaching. I don't schedule any club comps through July, August. Towards the start of July, the start of the holidays and the very back of the August holidays, I'll schedule 1 or 2 events like on a weekday and a weekend. But I, like at the moment, like I've got this week coming up. Today's Friday, so next week I've got my classes going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening. And then that's it for 3 weeks. So the kids will have a break for 3 weeks, and then we'll restart again in middle of March for 2 or 3 weeks before they have a break at Easter at the end of March. At the same time, I'll be then scheduling in that holiday period games for the kids to go out and get handicaps. So I try and make sure that it's very different for me, because obviously a lot of golf pros do camps, holiday camps, every holidays they can. I work 41 weeks a year when the school season and the year is ongoing. My only break to spend with my family, my 18 months old son, is those school holiday periods where I clear my diary for 3 or 4 days in those school holidays, and I go home and spend it with my wife and my child.
Ian mentioned the point there. You mentioned it there as well. So this has got to be from Marie then. Holiday then. Do you plan a holiday? Do you try and do something in Easter? Do you try and do something in the summer holidays? And even when you go away on holiday, does Josh go to you, can we play a round of golf on holiday?
Well, we're actually off to Marmanor with Aaron Lansbury on Monday to play. It's the first ever golf holidays done with the juniors. So we're off there to play 3 rounds of 18 holes of golf in Spain next week.
Nice.
So when do you actually have a family holiday then?
No, we do normally have a holiday where it isn't golf related. In the August, we normally go away for 7 to 10 days in August.
But you see my point, and
yeah,
look, Josh is only 12 kind of thing. So I think I'm right thinking 12. Is that correct?
He's actually nearly 14 now.
Nearly 14 now.
Yeah.
Okay. So
come on, Steve. Where's your research?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, shocking. So he's getting to the point now whereby he can always come back to you and say, "Well, no, I want to do this. I don't want to rest." And how difficult is it so the dual question then? How difficult is it as a professional to turn around and go, well, actually, no, this is not in your best interest? And how difficult is it as a parent to turn around and go, no, this is not in your best interest? For you, Aaron, first on that one.
Oh, I was going to say, go to Marie first.
Oh, okay, go to Marie first. Let's do parent first.
Throw Marie under the bus.
Yes. How difficult is it, parent, then, to basically say, no, actually, I know best here? To not answer it. They're probably wise.
Was it to me? Is it? Sorry?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Oh yeah. So Joshua's golf coach is the same as Aaron. So he stops all his coaches through the holidays. He does put golf camps on, but they are optional. You don't have to attend them. But I listen to Joshua. If he wants to go and arrange around with his friends, then absolutely. But if he says he wants to rest, then I respect that he needs to rest. We have got putting mat at home, and we have got a chipping net. So my recommendation is he practices at home, or he goes onto the driving range and practices short game at Stonebridge.
Go on, we're giving you a minute break there, Aaron. Now you have to answer this question.
Well, I've got obviously the kids that play in comps and playing in county events and county sides and all that stuff. I find more times than not, they're telling the parents, yeah, I want to play this. No, I'm not going to play that. No, I'm not going to do that. Yep, I want to do that. So with kind of the style I've kind of taught, and I've taught these kids now over the last 4 or 5 years. So now the kids that had started that when they were 8 and 9 and 10, and now I've got a couple of kids that are now, 2 kids that are about to hit 16. And then I've got a handful of kids that are hitting that 14-year-old mark now. They're now pretty much dictating to the parents, but also with what we're working on in our lessons and our structured programs, they're ready for them. So whether it's bad weather or not, mentally they're physically ready, because a lot of these kids are in the gym working like Josh. And they're getting themselves mentally and but physically ready for it. So, but I do think there is a point where it becomes too much. And then that's when you start seeing the rounds all of a sudden. I don't know what Josh's handicap is, Murray, but once you see those rounds starting to go, 3 and 4 and 5 shots are over their handicap, and then all of a sudden they blow out and have like a 10 or 11 over their handicap. That's when you can see shoulders start to drop, head starts to drop. They look a little bit disinterested. They're not very attentive. They're not putting 100% in because they're just exhausted and tired. So I think it's really important for, obviously the kids know the events they want to play, but the parents working with, say, like with Marie, is working with Aaron about what events would be very beneficial to Josh and what events would help him. Now, it might be a golf club, a golf course might suit his eye and suit his game. Now, Aaron and Josh will know that. Mum won't, but Aaron and Josh will know what my game plan is to what golf course is actually suitable and looks good to my eye. It's the same as me. When I play my golf, there's certain events that I will definitely go, right, I'm earmarking that one. And then I see that one in the schedule and just go a massive cross through and go, I don't want to be anywhere near that golf course.
So just on that point, Marie, obviously we're not talking about Josh for this particular question, but have you spoken to other parents whereby you've almost gone to that parent, actually that probably isn't the right competition for your son or daughter to play in, because it probably, might not be the right course, it might not be the right, it might be you mentioned earlier, Aaron, could be a long distance to drive there and back. Things you need to be aware of.
Length of
that
course.
Might be costly.
Absolutely. Or they might not be ready for 18 holes or ready to go off the whites yet. And to do something like that to a junior wouldn't do anything for their confidence. No. So I think you do have to think about the course and if there's 9 holes or what tees they're playing off as well.
Right. One final point that I want to talk about then. We've talked about competitions. We've talked about how you fit in coaching. You talk about how you fit in rest. We've talked about how you try and fit in holidays. Right. What about school? Because that's massive as far as children are concerned. Josh, obviously the age of 13, 14, has not quite got to the GCSE stage yet, but obviously
on his way.
That is going to be coming in the next 2 or 3 years or so. How do you even start that process of going, actually, that comes first. Sorry, but the golf has to take a back seat at certain points in the year. I'll go to Aaron first, because I'm sure you have had that conversation with some of your kids at your club.
Well, I need tips from Marie, because she's got a 14-year-old boy and I've got an 18-month-old boy, so I could definitely do with those kind of tips.
Is there a conversation even at this early stage that you are thinking about, though, Marie?
Yeah. So obviously, I am very fortunate. Joshua enjoys going to school. He's very academic, and he already knows what he wants to do when he leaves school. So priority is schooling for him. So in his head is he has his golf lesson on a Saturday morning, and then he has his golf PT every other Saturday, and then Saturday afternoons is his homework, revision, and then Sundays is his golf day. So he'll go out and either play with his mates, play with myself, play in competitions. But Saturdays is free schooling, and then he'll practice 2-3 times a week, and then the rest of the time is his homework.
And when you're organising the competition, Aaron, are you wary of the fact that, you know, some of the kids who you might like to play in the competition are probably, and I use the wrong age, whereby you know that that's not the right competition for them to play, and just on the basis that at that time of the year they're going to need to concentrate on the school, so therefore don't even try and get them to play in the competition?
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. It's definitely, I mean, every kid that comes through my door when I had the start of class and stuff, the first thing I asked them was how was school this week? Because when I see them on Tuesday night, they've had a full week of school. I ask almost every kid, how's school going? What'd you learn this week? What'd you do today? So I'm very much, school is very, very important. And I don't see how finishing school before you've actually falling out of school before you get to end of year 12 or end of year 11 and then your A levels. I don't see the benefit in doing that unless you've got a family and the child and the parents that are so gung-ho on and they're at a level where they can either go pick, I'm going to go look at doing US college. I want to look at tour school if they're literally in those, but we're talking obviously A-level kids. Whereas you've got 13 or 14 where Josh is at the moment, and I've got a ton of those kids. I always make sure that they remember that school has to be completed. Golf is a sport. Golf is a hobby. It's only a job once you turn pro. It's school is a must, and you must complete A levels to get anywhere in life, because I made the decision at 16 that I was going to do a PGA traineeship. I was in year 10 when I sat my mum down and went, I'm doing a PGA traineeship at 18. Now, I hadn't even really started. This was in January, so I hadn't even started year 10 yet. And she said, what's that? So I knew I was going to go through years 10, year 11, year 12, then go straight into a PGA traineeship for 3 years and get more qualifications to learn about finance, business, teaching, golf mechanics and playing, club building, club making. So then I knew I had an absolute rock solid backup for my entire life until the day I leave this earth. So if I wanted to go, which I did after my 3-year traineeship, I then went and played golf. I went to tour school, got my tour card, and had 12 months on the tour. So it's a massive thing for me. School is a must, and I make sure that kids that come on, stick to it, keep your head down, bum up, keep on those books, finish it up.
Just before we finish, because I appreciate time's getting on a little bit, but something I want to ask you, and Aaron, you and Marie, both of you actually, is we've spoken about a lot of stuff. One thing we haven't really spoken about is the actual parents themselves. Have you ever, either of you, ever had to step in a little bit when a parent is, my kid's good enough for this tournament, or they're not, what's going on, or I want them to play this, and you go, hold on. Aaron, you were nodding. Sorry, Marie, do you mind? Aaron's nodding, so I think he's got a story.
Look, I won't obviously, don't name names, but I have had parents who have been the sole drivers of their kids' golf, purely from, I think they're trying to get them to play golf for them. And it's actually interesting because I actually had to, and it was quite difficult, but I literally laid the law down to one parent in front of his child just the other week, unfortunately. And I was very constructive, and it had to be, because he has the kindest heart, and the heart is his heart as a dad is such in a good spot, in a good place, but how he delivers is so wrong. But I wanted to coach him and get him to understand the information and the words that he was saying to that child was damaging, and how it would look if the shoe was on the underfoot. How would he feel if his dad was like doing this and talking down to him and saying, oh, you squandered all these shots and you did this and you did that and you weren't thinking about it and you weren't focusing on it, and you did those 4 putts, what woulda, coulda, shouldas. You've got to think about what the reaction of the kid, and this kid is 8 years of age. So it's really, it is a hard one to get. It is a hard one, Steve, because I'm just the golf pro and the coach, and me trying to tell Marie, like, no, you don't talk to your son like that, and she's going to sit back and go, hey, I'm his mother. I'll talk to him any way I like. But I'm just trying to do it from my golf point of view, because I don't want to see him get so disgruntled and go, you know what, screw this, I'm not playing golf anymore. I've had enough.
Yeah.
Get burnt out.
If you come across that, Marie, have you ever had to?
Obviously, I've seen things out on golf courses, and that's why at certain events now we aren't allowed to caddy for our children. We can go on ball spot, but I have seen that, and it upsets me to see a parent speaking to a child. It's their hobby. If they have a bad round, it's not the end of the world. Carry on, it's a new day. And then we were behind this. He must have been can't have been any more than 7 years old. Back in October, his dad was taking him out to put a card in. Bearing in mind, they can go off the red tees at Stonebridge, because that's England Gloves have done that for the lads and the men. He was making this poor kid go off the yellows.
Oh.
And it broke my heart. And it was just tap, tap, tap. And his card, I just went up to Dad and went, he can go off the reds. And this card was, I think he must have shot about 75. That's not.
No.
That's not right. No.
It will bring me up. We're coming to the end of this podcast, so we'll mention some of the podcasts coming up. One of the podcasts we'll be coming up is called Junior Golf is Fun. Marie knows about this because we've been talking about this. So we're going to be looking at some of the other different things involved with golf, not competitive golf, so things like crazy golf, long putting challenge, golf darts, night golf.
Night golf.
Night golf. Yeah. So all different ways of making golf lots of fun and everything else. Just one last point as well, which Ian knows about, because we did a podcast on mental health in junior golf. And if you remember when we had Emily Horsett on, and she was talking about, we were mentioning earlier about school and how school can affect your golf and take you away from doing your studies. She mentioned, and she was right in saying this, well, she used golf as a way of taking her mind off her schoolwork as well. So there are other ways of looking at it whereby you can use golf, use it as a fun environment to go out there and have a break from the game. And let's not forget, golf is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be able to get there, get some fresh air and things like that. Right, we are coming into the podcast. We'll just mention a couple of the other podcasts we've got coming up. Might be a bit of a giveaway now, because we kind of mentioned this person earlier, but we've got a golf podcast on Charlie Hull, because we had a golf day with her today. We're going to do one on girls golf rocks and golf rookies. Golf rookies is the newer version of that. Golf.
Yeah, I better get Aaron back on for that. I know you do girls golf rocks.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to be doing one on that. And we're also going to do one on junior golf academies as well, and lots of other different subjects over the weeks and months ahead. But we've been covering like preparing for a junior golf season. So hopefully it's been helpful, looking at diaries, looking at schedules, looking at schooling, taking a break, holidays, so all different aspects, coaching as well. So different aspects, which it's a long season, and we're trying to get yourselves into the habit of trying to look ahead and trying to get your diary sorted. Of course, as we've well known the last few days or so, things can change, but if you can try and get yourself prepared for a season, then hopefully it'll be a successful and a fun season for all juniors and parents and junior golfers. So yes, thanks very much for watching the show this evening. We shall see you soon, and have a good evening.
Bye-bye.